We're here today because Chicago has spoken. For the second time in the last 4 years, over 89% of Chicagoans have said, we want an elected representative school board in this city. For the second time in 4 years, nearly 90% of Chicagoans have said that the rubber stamp school board does not meet their needs. And we want an elected representative school board in the city of Chicago. So we are here today to announce that by hook or crook, we're gonna get it. By hook or crook. I wanna look at y'all in the audience. I want y'all to look at me. I'm letting you know I made a solemn proclamation about 1.5 years ago. I will no longer go to school board meetings and sit up there and kiss the ring of people who have no skin in the game and no accountability when their policies fail. How come they haven't been fired since only 18% of the schools that have replaced closed schools do well? How can they remain in their positions? How can they remain in their positions that as a result of Mayor Rahm Emanuel's policies, the opportunity gap between black and white children is wider than it's ever been? How can they stay in their positions when only 1 out of 5 charter schools outperform neighborhood schools, but they get blank checks? They get blank checks to make money off our children. So we want an elected representative school board, don't we? All right. And we also here because community organizations all over the city of Chicago have said Chicago will no longer be a choice district. Chicago will become a community school district, a sustainable community school district. We are not going to sit up here and let education hustlers continue to invade our neighborhoods. And we're here today because the mighty Chicago Teachers Union is making a bold announcement today. You got to stay tuned. A bold announcement that's going to shake everybody up. So today, brothers and sisters, if you just had your, if you just had your foot in the river of struggle, you better jump your butt in. If you just dipped in a little bit, if you just, but it's too cold, no, jump your butt in the water and swim with us. Jump your butt in the water and swim with us. Who's school? Who's school?
I'm a school board member in exile. In Michigan, we have a law, PA 436, which allows our governor to appoint an emergency manager who serves as a reformer, who's taken away our public schools and closing our schools and disrespecting the brown and black children in our communities, because where emergency managers are, it's where brown and black students are.
There's a horrible law on our books in Michigan. It's PA 436. It allows our governor to appoint emergency managers who assumes all authority of the elected school board. That's right. They are reformers who are putting profits ahead of our education, special interests ahead of our students. The emergency manager totally disrespects brown and black children throughout the state of Michigan. As a matter of fact, they're only in school districts where brown and black children are the majority of the district. Parents in Detroit, Chicago, what parents want everywhere. A world-class education, an environment where our children can grow, learn, and succeed. That starts with supporting sustainable schools and neighborhoods, as well as having elected school boards, like every other school district in Illinois. As you can see and feel, the momentum is building. The privatization of education is not the future. World-class community schools are. From Little Rock, Arkansas to York, Pennsylvania, we are seeing policies advanced by Governor Snyder of Michigan, Mayor Emanuel, and others rejected. We can no longer accept taxation without proper representation.
Chicago and Detroit is very similar. As a matter of fact, a lot of the school board administrators that's here in Chicago came from Detroit. During our first reform takeover, Barbara Bird Bennett was originally at Detroit Public Schools when they closed over 250 schools in Detroit. So I'm here to stand with Chicago to have an elected school board and to call for 50 sustainable schools.
I think it's important that this event is before the election because we're here to demand that we need enough money for our students' education. We need fully funded public education for our students, and that we're going to need to fight for that. And moreover, we're going to need to fight for that whomever gets elected for mayor, whether it's Rahm. We've fought Rahm for the entire time he's been in office, so we know we'll have to fight him. But Chuy has said he accepts the framework of politics as it's done. He accepts that we're not going to charge the corporations, we're not going to make them support the society that they make money off of. That's what we would have to do to get the funding that we need. And so whomever's elected, we're going to have to fight for our contract, for more jobs, for higher pay for our students, for higher pay for our parents. It's going to take a fight. I think working people are going to need to fight. That's what we need to do. I think we should not be supporting the Democratic Party. CTU has funded even Madigan. We funded Quinn. We funded all sorts of politicians who have attacked us. I think we should stop doing that. CTU is powerful enough. We've been active in the political arena. We should do it in our own name. I think Karen Lewis running is a start. I ran for alderman. Chuy Garcia, Tim Megan, Tara Stamps, Zerlina Smith. I think those are the kind of people we need to be running. We need to run our own people on our own platform. That working people need our own organization. The Democrats are not an organization of working people. They're an organization of the wealthy interests, and they want to keep a hold over it. And I think our union strategy keeps us within that framework.
Sisters and brothers, it is an early rally, a beginning step on what will be a long journey. We do not come here today under the illusion that we're going to get everything that we want right away. We're not scared of hard work. We're not afraid of organizing. We know that the fight for justice in our schools is a long struggle. We hope to make progress. Today, we hope to make progress 2 weeks from today. But we know, if we think about 2012, that in 2012, when this city was awash in a sea of red, in September of that year, that was not a process which began in late August of 2012. That was a process that began when it was cold, when the skies were gray. It began in the winter when people began to ask themselves the questions in their classrooms. What are the things that we need in our schools? It began the fall before when people began to have conversations between teachers and counselors and clinicians and PSRPs and parents and people in the community and people who care about the city of Chicago. What do we need to have in our schools and what do we need to have in the city? So in that spirit of a long journey of which we're taking the early steps, I want to talk to you a little bit today about the bargaining demands which the Chicago Teachers Union made earlier today. Because this afternoon, we made some demands of the Board of Education about fairness in our schools and frankly fairness in our communities. We demanded that the Chicago Public Schools stop experimenting and privatizing and selling off our schools in the city. We demanded that educators, the clinicians, the PSRPs, the professionals that go to school every day be given respect and that their voices be heard, that we treated with respect. We demanded that students not be sent to testing factories, but rather that students be treated like human beings. And that the grease skids between suspensions and kicking kids out of school that then lead to probation and ultimately prison. And that school to prison pipeline be interrupted. And that educators be given the tools that they need to inspire kids and teach them art and music, not punishment, not scorn and derision and disrespect that makes them turn off to school. We want to treat our students like human beings. We ask for the schools that Chicago students deserve, that we have schools that instruct students in art, in music, in the beautiful things in life. We ask that our schools have the resources for counselors, not that our teachers be loaded with paperwork and compliance tasks and never given the chance to educate students. We ask for those things. We do not think it is too much to ask that the schools that we have reflect the values of our society and that the city that we have provide things like education for 3- and 4-year-olds who can't afford the exorbitant cost of sending their kids to early childhood programs.
That's right.
And now we have been asked, aren't those things unrealistic? Aren't those things too expensive for the taxpayers of Chicago? And I say, what taxpayers? Who are the taxpayers of Chicago? Because if you walk down the street 3 blocks where the traders live, they don't live in Chicago. They don't pay property taxes here. Nor do they pay taxes on the transactions which they make. And that when you bought a sandwich for lunch, you pay more taxes than they paid on their day's trading, on their week's trading, or on their entire lifetime trading, because they don't pay any taxes. So what about the taxpayers? I think it would be a good idea. That's what I think about it. And it would be a good idea if the politicians who are funded by them and who serve them start telling us the truth about the finances of the city. And the truth of the matter is that $250 million a year come out of school funds and school taxes to go into the TIF funds, and so they can bring those funds, they can carry the money down and build a new stadium for DePaul. That's right. Or they can give taxpayers to the corporations that are rich with profits, so they can build skyscrapers to the sky that are cathedrals to their profits. And you look up around us and you see these banks, and you know that these banks earn $700 million from auction rate securities deals and from toxic swaps and from other deals that cost the schools of the city and this city hundreds of millions of dollars, and they took those profits out of the city to their fine mansions and to their skyscrapers. That's right. And that's where the money is gone. So I think it will be an okay idea if they paid some taxes. That's right. I think that would be an okay idea. That's right. That's right. Because I'll tell you something. You cannot have cathedrals of profits reaching to the sky if they're built on a rotten foundation, a foundation of poverty and segregation among our schools, in which our young people's futures are foreclosed by their financial deals. You cannot have a society where the profits of the wealthy are made upon the backs of the people who make up the society. That's right. And if they want to call us radicals, they can call us that. And if they want to call us unrealistic, we'll say we have a vision for something different. That's right. And we're willing to fight for it. And so this might not be a journey which is over today. And frankly, when we move the mayor out of his office, it might not even be over then. Because you know what? I'm hopeful about political change, but I'm also a realistic person, which is that we fight for the change that we get. And the base of our political power is our union power. And the basis of our movement in the halls of power has to do with the basis of our movements in the streets. And that if we have power here, then we can have power there. And we will take this fight to its logical extension, where we fight for what's right in our society. So sisters and brothers, I welcome a long journey with you. Side by side we fight. We want fair schools. We want a fair Chicago. We want a just city. I look forward to seeing you in that struggle. Thank you. All right.